Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Happy Internet Lies Day. Today is April 1st, 2021. So, welcome to the stream, and hello, and let's do some more painting. I'm going to jump right into things. I'm not going to do any sort of April Foolsy stuff because that's not funny. It's not funny. Don't do pranks. Don't do japes. I am not a big fan of that. Anyways, yeah, it's Internet Lies Day, but not in my stream. I should actually make an emote for that or something, but too late now. I want to jump right in on things because I do have sort of a time limit today. Amanda is at work right now, but gets out at noon, which is when this stream is scheduled to end, so I want to get right into things. Let's jump over to Zoom Cam and take a look at what we've been doing so far. So this week on my painting stream, we have been painting some of the terrain for the Abington store demo copy of Warcry. So this is the piece that we've done the most work on, just in terms of getting paint on the model. Yesterday, we spent some time doing this marbling on the pillars here. I keep looking at it, and I can't decide if I like it or not. Like, out of the corner of my eye, just glancing at it, I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like marble. That actually worked pretty well. And then I look at it in more detail, I'm like, no, it just looks like I slapped paint on it, and it's messy. I'm sort of torn. I think it's good. Certainly for terrain it's fine, because terrain is not something people spend a lot of time looking at in high detail. But this was practice, and it was something I wanted to get done. I think it works. I think it looks pretty good. So we're done with that piece. Well, I say done. It needs a wash, and it needs some little highlights, so we'll work on that later. This piece I did off stream, so this is what I was working on last week before I started streaming my painting again. So that little piece is done aside from a wash and some fine detail. And then we've got a bunch of, this piece I guess is done. Yeah, that piece is done. It's tiny, but it still counts as done, right? So that's complete. And then we've got these three pieces that we've been working on and are tantalizingly close to done aside from a wash. This one has some skulls that need to be painted and some rope. I've been doing the rope in this nice burgundy, so we'll get to that. This one just needs the rope done, right? It's everything else. Well, and the base here, this log that everything is sitting on, needs to be done. So that's a little work to be done. And then this piece, I need to get a lot of work done on. It's got all this wood that needs to be done. It's got some skulls, and it's got some rope. So, but if I work quickly, and if the fates align, I believe I can finish all 3 of these today, or at least finish the base coat on all 3 of these today. So that is my goal. Let's see if we can do it. So to start out with, as always, I'm using my favorite brush, my Citadel small layer brush. And we're gonna start with, I guess, skulls, because there's skulls on 2 of those pieces. So we're using this very, very old bottle of skeleton bone that I got out of a kit long ago, about 3 years ago. Maybe longer. I don't know. Time is an illusion, right? I don't get time these days. But let's get a little bit of that out. You'll recall I was using this a couple days ago, and it's this bottle is near its end. I'm going to need to get more. Very thick, very gloppy. So let's actually thin it a bit. Add a little bit of water to that. Then just dive in and start painting some skulls. Good morning, Jen. How's it going? Happy Internet Lies Day. I hope the internet has not been awful to you yet so far. I said earlier, right at the top of the stream, I don't want that sort of toxic, lying to each other energy to be in my stream. So we're going to try and have this be an internet truths day on the old Thanatos painting stream. You will note that I have updated the follower goal. I was debating yesterday what I should set it to, and I went ambitious. So we've got our goal set quite high again. So we're at 22, thanks to a bunch of folks from Andrew's stream who followed yesterday, including Andrew himself. And that was very gratifying. We blew past our goal for March. Now we've got a goal for April. I'm trying to thin my skeleton bone with a little extra water. So this particular paint is so old and gloppy, I think it needs thinning. Otherwise you get many more brush streaks. But I always feel challenged when working with watery paint because it's harder to get those sharp edges to the paint that I like. It's harder to get it to go where you want it to go. It's just generally less cooperative when it's wet. But that's fine. I mean, what is this stream about? This stream is about experimentation and learning new techniques and learning how to do things. And one of the things that I need practice at is working with wetter paints, thinning my paint to make it go on a little better. So I'm all about learning new things. glop there. Okay, I got it. There's a glop in the paint, like a flake. So I'm feeling pretty good about this stream overall. Jen, it has been super nice of you to tune in every day and hang out. And I feel like we've made good progress in getting paint on models. And I got to experiment with new techniques, like the marbling that we did yesterday. Again, I'm not completely satisfied with the results, but fairly satisfied. Like, oh man, that didn't work at all. I just went to touch up the skull and just put a brushstroke right in it. That was awful. No, oh, it's so bad. That's cool, that's cool. I'll come back and do a second coat later. More water here. Keep this from thickening up. So I am, oh boy, this paint is, look how wet it is. Look how uncooperative it's being. That's too wet, too wet. Let's try and wick it away a little bit. Just dry the brush in. So you learn that the brush can act like a tiny sponge if you dry it. And if the paint is wet enough, you can just sort of pull it out with the bristles. Like I always say, working at this scale, the paint acts in a less intuitive manner. Like if you're used to painting with a paintbrush, I think probably most people have had to paint a room before, right? And you get a paint roller or you get your paintbrush and you get some paint on it, and then you sort of smear it around, and the paint acts in a very predictable manner. But paint, when you're painting a mini, behaves almost like, I don't know, it's sculptable. It's like a clay. And the brush is your sculpting tool. Less so than, just a implement for mashing paint onto things. Oh man, I'm getting paint everywhere. Everywhere. It's fine. Everything's fine. I can paint over it. I can fix it. Just remember that we've got some paint there that we're not happy with, and we'll come back to it. All right, that's all. Nope, that's not all the skulls on the front of this. There's one more. There's the back of a skull here. There we go. So my goal today, Jen, is to see if I can complete the base coat on 3 of these tiny terrain pieces, and that will be the last of the walls of spikes, the last of these stake walls, which are the smaller of the terrain pieces for Warcry. I want to get the base coats done on all of these. we'll see where we are, how long that takes. One of these pieces, like 2 of these, are mostly done, so it's not going to take that long. Of course, I'm bad at estimating time. I'm just really bad at figuring out how much time things are going to take. But, yeah, 2 of these are mostly done, and 1 needs a bunch more work on stakes, so I'm going to have to get a bunch of my brown paint out and work on those. Oh, I have to remember I need my light brown there. There's a bit of naked model. Let's see. This here is the back side of a skull, I believe. And right there. Oh. Some quick second coat stuff on a couple of these. No, I wasn't. So, Jen, you're asking if I was concerned that people were lying about having a good time watching me? No, I was just concerned about people having to deal with April 1st and the general... I don't know. I'm not a fan of the whole day full of supposedly funny pranks and japes. I don't like deception, and I don't like that people think deception is fun under certain circumstances. It's just not. It's not something cool, right? You shouldn't be lying to your friends, or your enemies, or anybody. So don't. Some touch-ups, and then I have a few more skulls on one more piece, and we'll be done with skulls for now. This piece is so close to done. I just need to do that base bit there and do these little ropey bits, and this one will be ready for a wash. Extremely happy with the progress I've been able to make this week. Certainly, having an excuse to do some painting every day has helped a lot. This piece, let's get all the skulls on here done. can't help feeling that things like April Fools play into the doodly bro, can't you all take a joke mindset, which is less about can't you take a joke and more about why can't I be an asshole and everybody else will just have to put up with it because it's my right to be an asshole. Like, there's enough of that in the world. Why have an entire day dedicated to it? No. Just no. Not gonna inflict that on my friends. The whole pivot to, oh, I was only joking, is such an abuser tactic. It's such a troll tactic. Like, you'll be as offensive as you want, as long as you can say, oh, it was just a joke. And I don't truck with that. Oof. I think people deserve to be treated fairly and with respect. And I think you can joke without being offensive and nasty. Like, I know many funny people who are not offensive and nasty. So many skulls. There's just one more here. I'm noticing a couple little pieces of broken masonry that I never painted on this piece. I will quickly go in and catch those. Then we'll work on some of the brown wooden stakes. Those bits up. that's all the skulls on those pieces. I have some skeleton bone paint left over here. Let's start work on one of the larger pieces. There's a couple skeletons on here. I don't see any reason not to get some paint on them. The one thing I do miss from April 1st is ThinkGeek. Back before GameStop consumed them and turned them into a manufacturer of crappy licensed products, ThinkGeek used to do so many weird things. And April 1st, it was always fun to try and decide which of the bizarre products they announced would actually end up being real things. Like, I'm pretty sure Tauntaun sleeping bag was an April Fool's Day gag at first, before they actually started manufacturing it. And the canned unicorn meat, which I think was just Spam with glitter in, that was an April Fool's Day gag. So they had funny ideas, and sometimes they actually ended up being real things. And I kind of miss that. And I don't think any of those products were plausible to be accepted as serious ideas, even if they did become actual real products that they sold on their web store. They were not meant to be taken seriously. I've seen a lot of people saying that the Volkswagen April Fool's Day joke this year was, I don't know, poorly thought out or something. Like, I saw somebody post today, oh, somebody at Volkswagen is going to lose their job for that. I don't think so. I mean, it's certainly gotten them a lot of press. It was kind of ridiculous when it was being reported as if it were a real thing. So, for anybody who doesn't know, and welcome to the internet, you lucky person who does not spend any time online, Volkswagen had a press release prepped to go out today, saying that in the US they were changing their name to Voltwagen. Haha. Because electric cars. And somehow that press release got posted on their website on Sunday instead of today. And several news agencies, and then it was immediately taken down. And several news agencies were like, "Oh ho, Volkswagen is going to be doing this thing," and treated it as if it was a legit news story, which was very weird. But I don't think any of that is the fault of Volkswagen. That is the fault of poor reporting, if anything. Alright, this skeleton's going to be annoying because he's behind a ladder. I have to angle my brush very carefully to get him. Or her. Why be discriminatory? So, ever since September 9th, or September 9/11, September 11th, ever since then, I have been somewhat of a news junkie. I didn't used to be. I used to be quite satisfied to live in my isolated little world of video games and movies. But 9/11 kind of shook me. I think it shook a lot of people. It was a very uncomfortable time. And I began to somewhat obsessively follow all sorts of news. With the result that now, when I'm in my car, I'm listening to news radio, and I at least look at the headlines on... I subscribe to a couple of different papers. I subscribe to the New York Times and the Washington Post. Used to subscribe to the Globe, but it got so expensive. I don't know why the Boston Globe costs like 5 times as much as the New York Times and the Washington Post. But anyways, I follow a lot of news. So I saw the Volkswagen thing in real time. Like on Sunday they were reporting about it. And I don't know how you could see something like a obvious joke rebranding and say to yourself, this is newsworthy and should be reported on the radio. I don't know. It's entirely possible that it's a planted story, and that the newspaper or the owners of the radio station I listen to have stock in Volkswagen. Like the whole leak from the very beginning, it could have been calculated. That's why I try to get my news from multiple sources. It's because I do know that there are stories that are planted to achieve certain ends. I listen to WBZ News Radio, and a few years back, WBZ was bought by iHeartMedia. I am not a fan of iHeartMedia. Let me tell you. I'm pretty sure that the newsroom tries their darndest not to be manipulated by the owners of the station. But stuff gets through. iHeartMedia, for example, early on after they bought the station, there started being ads for, and I can't remember what company it was, but ads for investing in legalized marijuana sales. And there was a little disclaimer that played on the front of the ad that was like, iHeartMedia, the owner of this station, owns stock in this. And I sort of filed that away. It's like, that's interesting. And now, anytime I hear a news story about legalized marijuana, I'm like, yes, I am in favor of this thing, but I somewhat suspect that this news story is on the air because it serves the interests of the company that owns the station. I don't know. iHeartMedia has been getting a lot worse in the last few months. Like, dramatically worse. I hear a lot of ridiculously right-wing ads. One of the things that iHeartMedia has been trying to do to build its media empire is it's trying to monetize podcasting. So they have the iHeartMedia Podcast Awards, and they talk a lot about their podcast network. And they play ads for podcasts that they're trying to promote. And for some reason, the podcasts that iHeartMedia is trying the hardest to promote these days are the most ridiculously conspiratorial right-wing podcasts. There's like a Red-Pilled podcast. Learn the ungarnished truth with Red-Pilled Podcast, or whatever it's called. I don't think that's the name of it, but I don't care to advertise it anyways. And it's like, why are you playing ads for podcasts that are entirely built on lies on your news station? You jerks. Like I said, I like the newscasters and the reporting that they do. I do not like the station owners. You just have to sort of listen with a understanding that in spite of the best efforts of the team, there are probably things being reported that, while factual, are not actually newsworthy and are there to serve an ulterior motive. I will say my news consumption these days is primarily an attempt to feel out the zeitgeist. So I'm less interested in the individual stories themselves than a general feeling of what is being judged newsworthy and what is being reported on. I am almost out of this block of paint. I'm at the very, very end of it. I want to try and finish this skeleton in a cage if I can. And then we'll get back to, we'll get out some brown and get back to painting stakes. Oh, I didn't notice this guy had a headband. This skeleton clamped in place by a headband here. Always fun discovering things in the model as you're painting them. There. Well, I did 3 skeletons and a whole bunch of skulls. Made some progress. Yes. Let's get out my brown. Pie! Good morning. Welcome. I'm doing well. Pie, I've been telling people, for the purposes of my stream, we are Internet Truth Day here at Thanatos. Here on my painting stream, it is not a Internet Lies Day, it is Internet Truth Day. And the truth is, Pie, you're awesome. And thank you for joining us. You're an amazing person, and I'm glad to know you. Trying to finish getting paint on a couple of models today. So chat, I have a proposal, a plan for tomorrow and for this stream going forward. Oh, thank you. Our cat, does not appreciate the fact that I keep disappearing into a room she's not allowed in. I'm sure she can hear me through the door. At least she hasn't taken to scratching at the door or meowing piteously out in the apartment. When Amanda leaves for work in the morning, Clara wanders around the apartment crying. And then she comes to bed, where I'm usually playing on my Switch, and snuggles up with me and everything's fine. But initially, she's very upset. She was sacked out on the bed this morning when I came in here, so she may just be unconscious. Jules, I can't wait to get more than just a fleeting glimpse of Bitchy Cat. Once we are all done with vaccinations and can actually hang out together, I want to be able to sit in a room and have your cat come visit. Hopefully she'll do that. Yes, soon! I need to make more bread. Maybe Sunday. Amanda and I might be going car shopping on Sunday. My car is at almost 100,000 miles and has been dying for years. And it is at the point where it is cheaper to get a new car than it is to repair the car I currently drive. So we might be going car shopping on Sunday. But I might be able to do some bread making as well. No, I'm glad to hear that your cat will come out for belly scritches and treats. As you know, Clara is exceptionally shy about strangers. But if you sit quietly and are not terribly threatening, I'm certain that she will come out to visit when you're able to come here. It feels strange to do a stream that has no chance of a Clara visit, but the whole purpose of having a cat-free room to do my painting in is to avoid getting cat hair in the paint. And maybe that's not been 100% successful. I've found some cat hairs in the paint. But I can guarantee you, if she could get into this room and hop up on this counter, there would be significantly more cat hair involved in this stream. Which might be a nice trade-off, because then you guys would see a cat. It would just make my life harder. More than cat hair, my concern is that she would step in the wet paint and track paint around the apartment. And I don't want to have to deal with that. I appreciate a cat that knows that they're worshipped, right? Bitchy Cat, she doesn't have to do anything but lie around because she gets everything she wants, which is fine. Amanda recently has been trying to curtail the unfettered treat giving and between meals feeding that Clara has been enjoying since she came back from her jaunt into the unknown. Now that Clara is back, We spent a considerable amount of time just being overjoyed that she's here and not being terribly responsible about not feeding her all the time. Problem is, it's just unhealthy if she gets food every minute of every day. Especially if she's still in a, and I don't know if she is still, but if she's still in a attitude of food is scarce, so I need to consume all the food that is available to me immediately. I think it's just not terribly healthy for her to be eating constantly. So we're trying to cut back on the between meals snacks and stuff. But it's hard. It's so hard. She's so cute. She makes such plaintive, starving noises. And that poor, poor starving cat. Oh, I was going to, before I got distracted, I was going to tell you, chat, what my plan is for Fridays. So I want to make Fridays for this stream finishing Fridays. When I take a model that's mostly done, like many of these that just needs a wash and some fine detailing, and actually finish it and see how many models we can just check off the list. Get that last little detail work done, do that wash, and get them completed. So that's my plan for tomorrow, is it's going to be finishing Friday. We're going to put washes on some of these things that we've been finishing up over the course of this week. And we'll do some dry brushing, we'll do some detail work, do some basing, everything that you do to move a model from mostly done to completely done. Of course, as with all artistic endeavors, done is a relative thing. The fact of the matter is, you get to a point where it's like, there's other things I could do with this model, but I need to accept that I have to move on. I'm going to call it done and move on to the next thing. So it's less about doing everything you want to do and more about saying, okay, I'm not going to do any more work on this. It is done. It's not a state for the object. It is a state of mind. It is a decision that the artist makes to say, done. Time to do something else. I guess it's easier to achieve that when the art you're working on is something you're going to sell or give away or something like that, because it's no longer going to be in your possession, so you're not going to be tempted to fiddle with it anymore. But these are going to be at the Abington Battleground store, so I could see myself being tempted to go back and revisit them. Be like, there's that one thing, that one detail that I feel I could do better. but I feel for the most part we should be able to check some things off on the list tomorrow. Take all of these things that we finished the base coats for, do a wash on them, do some highlights, dry brushing, that sort of little extra detailing, and then just walk away. Just step away. You're done. Which of these pieces had that place where I blepped skeleton bone paint way up onto the wood? I have to find that now that I've got brown paint out and just cover up that little blep. It's looking pretty good on that side. I have to do this side, but we'll do that in a second. Hydrate, y'all. Although I'm using coffee, so it's not necessarily hydration. Well, if I can't find it, then it's not an issue. Yeah, don't worry about it. I wanted to do the bottom portion of this. More brown out soon. I'm almost done with that bottle of paint. Gonna need to get a new bottle soon enough. Okay. There we go. Alright, it's 11 o'clock already. Where does the time go? Time certainly flies when you're painting things. Got 1 hour. Do you think I can finish 3 pieces or get done with the base coat on these 3 pieces today? I think we can get there. Maybe get started on another piece. We'll see. just slapping paint on now. This is a nice, big, wide, open space, this piece. So it's quick and easy to get paint on here. The only reason I hadn't done this on this piece is that I was holding it by the base. And it's hard to paint an area that you're holding. There we go. We're almost to the point where we just need to do the little red ropey bits, the twine, the tied bits, and these three pieces can get added to the mostly done pile. The mostly done pile. And then tomorrow we'll finish them. Yes, I'm excited about this. It'll be a good way to finish up the week's worth of streams. We'll get to mark things as completed, check them off on our list, even if the list is more of a mental list than a physical list. I should make a physical list. It would be very satisfying to check things off. This is tricky because I'm holding it just by this little bit here. I can't grab the base because it's all wet now. So my grip is precarious. You miss Amanda's stream sometimes? I mean, you can always watch the VOD. She doesn't archive it to YouTube or anything because she's reading copyrighted material, but she leaves the VODs up until they expire, so they're up for 2 weeks. My sleep schedule has been weird lately. Pretty much crash right after Amanda's stream these days. I used to stay up until like 2 in the morning playing video games. And when I say used to, as recently as a few months ago. Or a month ago. But these days I've been crashing almost immediately after Amanda's stream. And then getting up and showering and getting ready for this stream. I'm still getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep. I guess I'm getting enough sleep. Right after I got my vaccination shot, I slept until 10, like 3 days in a row. That was just, I was so tired. As my body was working at building antibodies. As far as my body was concerned, it was fighting off a deadly disease. And I was just completely wiped for a couple of days there. Ah, congratulations, Jen. 1 week. I love seeing people getting vaccinated. It was a little frustrating when, as a retail worker, having to come into contact with people constantly, I was not on any of the lists that could get vaccinated. And that wasn't the fault of any of the people who were getting vaccinated. That was just, limited supplies, and there were people who were at greater risk than I was. But it left me unsettled. I'll say it that way. Because I was very aware that every day that I go into work, I'm coming into contact with people, some of whose mask discipline is not that great, and whereas I never ever took off my mask at work, there were a lot of folks whose masks slipped, or they weren't great at keeping them over their nose, or whatever. And it's been that way for months and months and months, that I've been going to work every day and feeling like I'm putting myself in harm's way. And to not be able to get vaccinated was not great for my peace of mind. But now that Massachusetts has opened vaccinations up for retail, I am feeling a lot better. Got my first shot. I'm feeling better. We're making progress. Yeah, Jules, I hope that the second shot is not too nasty for you, but I will completely understand if next week's streams take a back seat to your recuperation. That is entirely fine. I'd rather you were getting rest and building antibodies and getting well than feel pressured to do any sort of streaming. I enjoyed yesterday's Kingdom Hearts stream, though. I'm glad I got to tune in for part of it before I had to go to work. And I enjoyed Andrew's Jackbox stream on Tuesday. I need to find a way to make the spreadsheet that we made way back at the beginning of the pandemic. I need to update it, and I need to find a way to post it so that folks know where all the Battleground adjacent Twitch streams are. because Pi, you're streaming more now that you're back home again. And Andrew streams various video games and occasional Jackbox. Amanda's still doing her read alouds, and now I'm doing these painting streams, and my friend Bernie plays Switch games. He plays a lot of pinball on stream. I don't know if you folks know how much I enjoy pinball. I love pinball. But we've got all these different streams, and we should have a centralized location where people can see what streams are scheduled for when. I'm pretty sure I do have read-write privileges to that spreadsheet. But is that something that you would feel comfortable with me, like, spreading to the internet in general? Jen, I have requested and received permission for a full week's vacation after my second shot. After my first shot, like I said, I was completely wiped out. I'm anticipating the second shot really taking it out of me. So, I've sort of budgeted for that. Hopefully, I won't be so out of it that I can't paint. We'll see. I may have a couple of streams that I don't do. But that's not until the end of this month. My second shot, I believe, is scheduled for the 24th. Could be wrong. Obviously, I have it in my calendar. But I believe it's the 24th. And then 2 weeks from then, oh man, I'll be fully vaccinated. Hard to believe. And once all my friends and family are fully vaccinated, my father's fully vaccinated now, although the CDC is still recommending against travel even for the fully vaccinated. He's in California, so I may not get a chance to hang out with him too soon. But progress. Amanda's parents are both fully vaccinated now. They have started going to the supermarket to get groceries and stuff, which I think they've both really, really enjoyed. Yes, fully vaccinated lobster. It's funny, Pi, he's shown up to a couple of these painting streams, but he is just starting work at like 8 o'clock, which is about now. So he can only tune in to lurk from work. My stream schedule is not well suited to his availability right now. he was able to tune in for the Sunday stream. But I don't think Sunday streams are going to be a regular thing for this painting stream. I'm trying to keep to a Monday through Friday. I figure 2 hours a day is not excessive. So I'm trying to keep to a Monday through Friday 10 to noon for this stream. We'll see how long I can keep it up. Obviously, if I feel the need for a break, I'll take a break. But so far, up through today, I've been looking forward to these streams. I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do some painting today. And I'm going to see folks in chat. Any day when I can get some painting done is a good day. Rainy days are nice for staying indoors and being artistic and creative, or staying indoors in general. Lord knows I've done a lot of, got paint all over the place there, a lot of video game playing, but that's sort of regardless of what kind of day it is. I guess I feel less pressure to not play video games if it's not gorgeous out. But I don't tend to go outside anyways. Maybe once we hit a more summery weather patch, I'll open windows while I'm painting. Just to air out the room a little bit. Did you folks see the pictures of Andrew's outdoor workspace that he was working in yesterday? He took a folding chair and a small desk and a bunch of computery stuff and set them up in the cab of his truck. It was hilarious. Oh, you were there. You saw it live in person. It looked like a nice way to get some fresh air while doing some work. And Loki seemed to appreciate it. We're getting so close here, folks. A little bit more brown paint on here. Couple little touch-ups. So close. Trying to decide if I should watch King Kong vs. Godzilla today, or if I should watch Skull Island first. I haven't watched Kong Skull Island yet, and it might provide essential backstory that I need to understand King Kong vs. Godzilla. So I might want to watch that first. Besides, I understand it is a true tour de force for John C. Reilly. Cool, cool. We're making progress. That is the last of the brown wood bits on the 3 pieces I'm working on today. Pretty sure? Alright, so quick inventory. I have to do a tiny bit of white paint there. Well, I say white paint, it's the deck tan. I have to do a tiny bit of copper there, or brass. Done with all the skeletons on this. I need to fix this where I blepped up on that. And there's one where I need to finish one of these stakes. And then we do the red, and bing bang boom, 3 pieces will be completed. Let's do that scorpion brass. Or brass scorpion. We're going to do that quickly. Just a couple little areas to touch up with that. That's right here. Right here. There. There. Cool. Excellent. Let that dry a little bit. And while it dries, let's start work on the red bits. So we're using this Vallejo red, which is this lovely, dark, rich burgundy. I love this color so much. This paint is so good. A little bit of paint on my fingers. Not much though, all things considered. This little splash of color is so perfect. Just enough to make the model come alive. Outside the lines there. Just here, I need to get this with some brown. Cover up my overzealousness there. I'll let it dry first. I realize I get quiet when I am deep in concentration getting these fine details done. This is when painting is the most meditative. Is when you're doing these really fine lines. And this isn't even the finest detail. Eventually, I'll have to do work on faces and eyes and stuff when I get back to working on figures instead of terrain. And that's when I switch out to the finest detail brush I have. And have to really concentrate. So I'm just using like a tiny, tiny bit of paint on the very tip of the brush, and I'm sort of pulling the brush along the line that I'm trying to do. So I'm sort of dragging the paint onto the model. And this is a very thick paint. I haven't thinned it at all. So it's just sculpting the paint with the brush. Encouraging it to go where I want it. Trying not to hurry, but also trying not to take forever, because I do have a time limit today. Amanda gets home at noon, and I want to be able to have lunch with her, so I have to wrap up by noon. And I really want to get these pieces done by then. Yeah, my paint water is definitely taking on some color. So far, in these streams, knock on wood, I have managed not to try and drink from my paint water. My coffee is just out of shot here. And I haven't been drinking as much from my coffee. I drank a bunch of coffee before I went live. But I should hydrate more. So chat, I know it's probably jumping the gun, but I've begun to make plans for what I want to do with this stream if and when I reach affiliate. We have a ways to go to get there. But part of what I do is make plans. I spend a lot more time making plans than taking action, in fact. It's just a thing for me. There's some area here that I didn't paint. Not much. There. Where was that blep? Let's see if that's dry enough that I can fix it. It's right there. There. Nobody will ever know. time do I have now? 20 minutes. 20 minutes is plenty of time. Don't want to feel pressured to go too fast. I'll make silly mistakes if I do. Keep noticing areas where I didn't get paint on the model. I'm trying to address those as I go. That was too much paint. It's fine. Everything's fine. Good. Do I need help getting started on the road to affiliate? I mean, you've helped a lot already. Part of it is I just need to be consistent in my streaming. I just need to be here regularly, stream on schedule, and then it's just creating a community, having people join us on stream to hang out and chat, and I think we're doing very well at that so far. Like I said, we blew past our follower goal for March. We'll just keep plugging along and see how we do with our April follower goal. I think we can get there. I'm going to make an effort to stream regularly, and I'm going to make an effort to make sure people know that I'm streaming. And I think everything everything else comes organically from that. I don't have to stress particularly about hitting goals or anything. Because as long as I have faith that as long as I'm providing a fun, safe, pleasant place to hang out while I do some painting, some fun people will come hang out with me. So far, it's worked out well. I don't really have any ambition to become a professional streamer. Partially because I know the job of professional streamer is largely about the hustle. You know, it's about the glad handing and getting the follows and the subs and the engagements and I don't know. It's a lot. I am by nature a fairly antisocial person. So the life of the professional streamer is perhaps not the life for me. That having been said, I do still have plans for things I'd like to do with this stream to make it more engaging for people who are watching. And those plans involve reaching affiliates so that I can have like sub banners and stuff like that. Have emotes. I look forward to having emotes. Okay, that's all the red bits on this. Need to touch up that steak there. If I could remember what color brown that was. I think, yeah, I think the tips of these steaks are flat earth. It's another Vallejo color. Coffee color there. You can see there's just some bare plastic here. Easily rectified. find it, it's not a problem. Thought I had gotten dark brown on the top of one of these steaks. Oh, there we are. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. I need to get that little bit there. It is deck 10. Oh. Little bubble there. Go. Lovely. Making such good progress. Probably gonna have to wrap this up before finishing all 3 pieces. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. Not a lot of little ropes here. Not as many as there were on that last piece I was working on. Yeah. There we go. Nope, I missed one. This one here. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Zoop, zoop, zoop. I really love how just a little color makes this model look so much more interesting. Goes from all just dark colors to this little pop here. Nope, Amanda is home. I just heard her car. Now I have to decide what I'm going to have for lunch. start making dinner. Making a beef stew for dinner. Soaked some barley overnight. Make a beef barley stew. That sounds yummy to me. To leave things unfinished. I'm so close, so tantalizingly close to having the last bits of these base coats done. So, that is the last bit for this piece. This is the last piece I wanted to finish today. So, see how quickly we can do this? Or do we just call it? I think we're going to call it. I think we're going to say, I will do that last bit tomorrow. So let's look at what we constructed today. We did the whole bottom piece of this. So this piece just needs these little areas here to be done. So close. So very, very tantalizingly close. We completed this piece. So this piece is completely base coated now, unless I decide to do some marbling on this, which I might, just to make it consistent with the other pieces. And we completed this piece. Look at that. It's gorgeous. So, yeah, I think, oh, my back. I think we're going to call it a day for today. Thank you so much for joining me, folks. I had a ton of fun, and I look forward to seeing you folks tomorrow. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jen. Thank you, as always, for being here. Tomorrow we'll do Finishing Friday. Tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to take all these pieces we've been working on all week. We're going to do a wash on them. We're going to do some dry brushing. We're going to get some little detail work done, some edging. And then they will be done. We will be completely done, hopefully, with all of these pieces. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. 6 pieces completed in 6 days. That's an excellent record. I think that's great. And then we'll start making plans for next week. But I will see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Tonight at 7:30 over at Battleground Games Live, Amanda and I will be playing a little bit more of Underboss or Overboss, which is the new boss monster game. We have been having a fantastic time with that. And I really look forward. We're doing the campaign mission for that. And we are up to level 6 of the campaign. So we're going to complete that campaign off tonight. We're going to have some fun with that. Maybe open some magic cards on stream. Who knows? And then, yeah, we'll have Amanda's read aloud stream tonight at 10 p.m. And then at 10 a.m. tomorrow, I'll see you guys for Finishing Friday. So thank you so much. Be excellent to each other and enjoy whatever art you choose to do. Have a great day, guys.